It's true. All of it. Those who sit above prepared to feed. The twilight sword has been lit. And the clues, they all point to one single thing. Ragnarok is coming. Alright, so with Thor Ragnarok coming out in about a year, fans have been chomping at the bit to get answers to some of the biggest questions for the movie that, so far, everyone involved in production has just left dangling. Will everyone die since the movie actually has the word Ragnarok in the title? Who has the Soul Stone, Heimdall or newcomer Hela? By the way, I covered that in one of my older videos. You can check it out right here or just click the link in the description. But believe it or not, we might actually have some big, and I mean big, spoilers for the next entry in the Thor franchise. Keep in mind, what I'm about to tell you is just a theory, but if it's true, then the Marvel Cinematic Universe is about to be rocked. Now, to fully understand this theory, let me take you back to the very beginning of the MCU, all the way back to Phase 1. In the original Thor movie, we got to see scenes like this. Remember this? It's Odin's vault on Asgard, filled to the brim with extremely dangerous and rare artifacts, all of which are currently in the possession of Loki, taking the shape of Odin. By the way, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Thor: The Dark World. Anyway, these vault scenes actually contain a lot of clues to movies that hadn't been released yet, or even talked about at the time, like the Infinity Gauntlet featured in the upcoming Avengers movie, Infinity War, or this thing, the Tuning Fork, which in the comics can summon a being known as the Lurking Unknown, who's also a member of a group called the Fear Lords. They're basically a group of demons and extra-dimensional beings who get power from the fear of others, and one of their members just so happens to be the villain Nightmare, who, as we all know, is being included as the villain in Doctor Strange 2. But the two big things I want to focus on in today's video are these things. These two artifacts right here are the ones that I believe will lead to the downfall of Asgard in Thor Ragnarok. The Eternal Flame and the Tablet of Life and Time. Now first, let's start with the Eternal Flame. In the comics, Odin stole the flame from his enemy Surtur in order to keep Surtur from igniting his sword, known as Twilight, and kickstarting the cycle of Ragnarok. In case you didn't know, Surtur will definitely be coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Thor Ragnarok. Not only did they hint to him showing up in the last two Thor movies, with the Eternal Flame in this scene here, and the glimpse at Surtur's realm Muspelheim during Malekith's attack in Thor: The Dark World, but they also kind of showed him in footage shown at the Comic-Con in San Diego earlier this year, and apparently it was really awesome. Alright, so we know Surtur's going to be in it, and he'll obviously, at the very least, try to ignite his sword and start the whole event the movie's named after. But what about the Tablet of Life and Time? What does this have to do with Ragnarok? Well, nothing, just looking at it. In the comics, the tablet has a formula on it which, if decoded, could boost the user to the pinnacle of their species and allow them to reach their full evolutionary potential. But because Marvel loves to mess around with the artifacts and abilities of said artifacts in their cinematic universe, I wasn't exactly surprised to find out that after translating the runes on this tablet, they added a little something to it. What did surprise me though is what they included. Now take a look at the markings on the tablet here. There's a message there, believe it or not, written in the runes that says, "Those who sit above in shadow." That's not a joke, by the way. Translate it, check it out for yourself. Now just in case you don't know who or what they are, those who sit above in shadow are a group of super powerful beings who fed off of the energies created during the cycle of Ragnarok. In the comics, the group fed by using the Loom of Fate, a mystical loom constantly monitored by the Norns that weaves a tapestry showing the fate of every living being in the universe. Now believe it or not, we've technically already seen the Norns in Avengers: Age of Ultron. During a podcast with Empire, director Joss Whedon explained his original vision for that weird pool scene in Age of Ultron, where he explained that the voice speaking through Thor and giving him answers about the Infinity Stones was actually from the Norns themselves. It's much better seen / heard in the extended version.
It is of the six, the infinite six, cannot be joined nor kept apart.
He stated the following. The original scene was that Thor went to speak to the Norn, and how it would work was he'd go into the pool and the Norn possess him, basically, and Eric Selvig asked all the questions and the Norn, speaking through Thor, gives the answers. Alright, so we have the Norns, but we can go a step beyond that with some more connections. In the Ragnarok storyline in the comics, just before Thor manages to sever the thread in the Loom of Fate and stops Ragnarok from becoming another cycle of death and rebirth, guess who the Norns claim gave them the power to see the future and do what they do in the first place? Yep, you guessed it, those who sit above in shadow. There's even supposedly glimpses of unknown figures in a throne room in the footage shown at Comic-Con that, if I'm right, could belong to those who sit above in shadow. I mean, look at what they're sitting on. Thrones. They're the ultimate hidden enemy, allowing or even causing Ragnarok to continue in an endless loop so they can play God to the Asgardians. Honestly, it'd be such a shame not to include them and watch Asgard burn, but whatever happens, I'm sure absolutely none of it will stop either Hulk or Thor from returning for Avengers: Infinity War. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to click that like button, maybe leave me a comment while you're at it, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out any of my social media pages. I've got a Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All those links are going to be in the description below. And I've also got my last video right there in the middle of your screen, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and click it, check it out. All right, and I will see you all next time.